You have big dreams of losing weight and creating a healthy, joyful life. But you find yourself craving sugar, caught up in what the scale says, and diet hopping. Dieting is the old way of losing weight. And the good news is I'm going to give you a new way of eating so you can ditch diets for good and build a healthy relationship with real food. My name is Megan Olson, certified nutrition practitioner, creator of Skinny Fitalicious, and your host of the Dish on Diets show. Hello, friends. Today, my client Wendy is on the podcast. She is going to talk to you about her journey losing 30 pounds in menopause over the course of the last year. She started working with me at the beginning of 2025, and when Wendy first had her consultation with me, she expressed to me she didn't really think anything was going to work. She felt like she was doing everything right. And you're going to hear her talk today, very honestly in this podcast, that she wasn't doing everything right. She thought she was, but she learned some very specific things in one-on-one coaching that helped her get to where she is now, which isn't so much about the weight. It's about eating like a normal person, having peace with food, and being at a healthy body composition and having that healthy relationship with food, which Wendy talks about today. I hope you enjoy her podcast. And listen, I want to say for some of you, stop judging yourself and being mad that Wendy is in a place that you're not in yet. Because I know some of you are going to listen to this and be upset that she's lost 30 pounds and you haven't yet. The problem is everybody is on their own journey. And we as women need to stop comparing, because comparison is the thief of joy. We need to stop comparing our journeys to other people's journeys. We are all on different paths. We all bring different baggage to this journey. As long as you're on your own path and you are making progress slowly but surely, be confident in what you're doing and listen to this podcast from a lens of curiosity, not from a lens of self-judgment. With that, here's Wendy. Hey, Wendy, welcome to the podcast. So glad to have you here today.
Hey, Megan, thank you for having me. Happy to be
Yeah,
here.
I'm so excited for you to tell everybody about your almost 30-pound weight loss in your
Yeah,
50s and everything that's been going on with you, because I am sure there are a lot of women just like you in the throes of menopause and all of the stuff in life, and they're
yep.
struggling with their weight, and you're going to be able to give them a lot of help and insight
I
today.
hope so. I hope so.
That's the
I'm
plan,
here for
right?
it. Yep, that's the plan.
Well, tell us a little bit about yourself, like anything you feel comfortable sharing, and maybe a little bit about your weight loss journey.
Sure. I am 51. Um, I am currently single, so I just went through a divorce recently, which was very challenging of a 20-year relationship. Um, I've, you know, I don't have any kids, so I understand there's a lot of moms out there that have a lot of challenges with busy. I am busy with my life, but no children. Um, I do work full time. I do work remotely, so that does give me a little more flexibility in my lifestyle. So it definitely helps working remotely. Um, I've as most of your probably clients, I've been on a ton of diets almost my whole life. Well, I feel like as a kid I was normal, but I think when puberty hit is when I started having problems. So I've been on and off of like most likely I it's really just Weight Watchers. I've done a few small things here and there, but I've done Weight Watchers like literally 100 times.
Uh,
Yeah, so but I did give up on them a long time ago. So I was like, this it works and then it doesn't work. So yeah. So I mean that's just a little bit about me, but obviously I've kind of always struggled with my weight for most of my life. And especially right after I lost my father about 6 years ago, it kind of ballooned back up. And, I was trying to do everything on my own. Like, I know what to do. I know what to do. Obviously, I didn't because nothing was working. Um, yeah, it wasn't working. And yeah, so then I kind of found my way back to you since I worked with you many, many, many years ago, but continued following you, your emails, and, your posts and your recipes and stuff. And then finally I woke up and said, you know what? It's time. It's time.
Yeah. Yeah, it's time for a change, right?
Yeah, time to make a change and hopefully this time do something, get some results, let's just say.
Yeah, yeah. And you are, somebody, when you came to work with me, you were eating a lot of healthy foods and you were exercising regularly, right?
Yeah, I mean, well, my food intake was probably better than my movement. I feel like I wasn't I used to be, and then I don't think I was consistent with the moving. I think I was the second time around with you was I was pretty sedentary. I think, because of things that were going on in my life and leading up to the actual divorce, I think I was just like a super couch potato. So, but yeah, food wise, like I always like healthier foods, eat better foods. I'm not like into a lot of junk and fast food and fried foods and stuff. So, I don't really eat that way, but didn't really matter, did it? Because weight wasn't budging.
Yeah. But you always did your bar classes, right? You've been doing bar classes for many years.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I've been consistent now for a year and a half, I think now with bar. Yeah. Started out slow and then I gained momentum and now I do like 4 to 5 times a week. I love it. So yeah.
That's awesome.
And and all my walking, of course. All my
That,
steps.
uh-huh, yes,
Now.
and that's something you're doing differently now, right? Is
That
getting
is
all those
very
steps.
different. Yes, yeah, I was not moving enough. And I really like the big thing you say is I wasn't tracking. I had no knowledge of what I was doing. I thought I was probably moving around enough, but I got myself a Fitbit and I got myself, I started tracking what I was doing and I saw, oh, geez, that's not great. That's pretty slow and low. So yeah. So we had some goals and I, crushed it.
Yeah. And I think you got like a walking pad or a treadmill or something
Yes,
too.
I did. Yeah, I invested in a tre it's a walking pad, but it's kind of bigger. It's not those tiny ones. I wish I had a tiny one because it's kind of big and cumbersome behind me. But yeah, so it really helped because I do like to be outside and walk, but obviously extreme hot, humid, pouring rain, snow, freezing temperatures, and I was like, I need to stay consistent. The only way to do it was to
Yeah.
get a walking pad or a treadmill, and it's really changed things. It makes things so easy. Yeah.
Yeah. I know we're kind of jumping around for the listeners, but that was one thing that was kind of missing for you is getting that movement and working from home, or just having a job where you're seated all day. It does mean you're just not expending much energy. And I think this is something a lot of people miss. You're like exercising, like you're going to your bar classes, and you're like, what am I missing? It's like, well, you still need to get steps.
Yeah, because I mean, yeah, that bar is, not you're not running around for the 50 minutes, you're moving
Mhm.
around, but not like that. So you definitely can't get the steps you need, the movement, just taking bar. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Exercise and steps, two different things.
Yep, I
Two
know. I
different
learned that.
things.
I learned that through you.
Yeah. So, since we're talking about what you learned, what are some other things you learned?
Oh, like a lot of things. I mean, a lot of things. So, I mean, honestly, I had the mindset of like, I am eating healthy and I'm not overeating and I'm not binging and I'm not having emotional eating but nothing was happening. And I was like, well, what could I do wrong? What am I doing wrong? And it mostly was like what you preach, like you need to be tracking it. You need to know where you're at, right? Because if you don't have the data, you can't figure out
Mhm.
what's going on. So, I mean, once we started working together and you put that tracker together and I started, tracking, protein and fiber and movement and, and calories, like we, played around with calories. Um, it like made a big difference because then you can really see what you're doing and then you can adjust and fix. And I mean, that's what really made the difference. Obviously, the shift in, my protein goals and really shifting what I was eating or how much of what I was eating, made a big difference. And I mean, honestly, going into it, I can tell everybody that I was like, nothing's going to happen, but I'm going to try, right? Because that's probably what kept me from coming back to you even earlier on was basically I was just like I don't feel like failing again because I just kept failing and failing. um So, I said, "I'll give it a try. You know what? Try one more time," right? And I was really, I was flabbergasted. I mean, obviously it was not overnight, and I know everybody wants instant. I probably wanted instant at the time, but just one day I woke up and I was like, "Oh, none of my pants fit me. Everything's falling off. Everything's falling off." It was like literally like an aha moment. And I don't know how long it might have been like 8 months or something like that, 7, 8 months into it, or maybe a little less. And then all of a sudden I started seeing the change.
So it
Um,
was a while. It wasn't like
yeah,
3 weeks or 2 months, and things
no,
were
no, it was a
drastically
while.
happening. It was a while, like
Yeah,
almost like a year from the time that we started working
yeah,
together
yeah,
that to
absolutely.
lose the 30 pounds.
Yeah, no, and it's not even just like the weight. It's like my body is just totally different. The composition, it's just different. And I was like, oh, and I thought I told a few other friends this, like, I think like a few weeks ago, like I put on my wedding dress because I I still have it. I wanted to see if it zipped because I was pretty thin, much thinner. And it totally just zipped right up. So I was like, oh, I'm like, this is great. Like, this fit. And it's 20 years ago. So that's always a nice thing. So I saved some things from many years ago and they fit me and it feels great. And I don't care if it's 20 years old.
I
Yeah.
remember you coming to a call and you're like, nothing fits me. I have to stop losing weight now.
Yeah, I know. I was like, and all my friends, my family was like, stop spending money. I was like, what? You just work from home. And I was like, I still need clothes that fit me. Like literally yesterday after I got back from bar, I just threw on some like at home clothes and it was all old stuff. And it was all like giant hanging off of me. Like my pants, my tank top, and my sweatshirt were all like, I was like, okay, well, I'm home, so it doesn't matter. But it's really amazing when you look at it. I was like, wow. Um,
hmm
that stuff is, it's large, large on me, So it felt good. And yeah, it's very freeing. And it's not just like weight off. It's just being, feeling control and feeling like I can just live my life every day and feel good and feel normal and not feel challenged with, not just food, but everything.
Well, and now you know what the problem was because, like, when you and I first had our consultation, I remember you saying, I think it's my hormones, and, I don't know if my body's really going to respond to anything. I just feel like it's meant to be this way. You said something along those
Yeah,
lines. And
yeah, I know exactly. I was like starting to go through menopause and having like issues, all the fun symptoms there, and I've still struggled with it, but
yeah.
it seems to be somewhat under control now. But yeah, the menopause, and then we started working together before my divorce, but then, things kind of hit, and you know, I was not going to let that like derail me. I think most people probably would just say like, "Oh my God, my life is spiraling." Um, but I think it gave me something to concentrate on and like on myself, self-care. And I wasn't going to let anything derail like my wellness journey and getting to where I wanted to be. So, and I'm so glad that I didn't let it.
Me
'Cause,
too. I'm proud of you because that would have been easy to just allow
yeah,
yourself to backslide into self-destructive behaviors.
yeah, absolutely, exactly. No excuses.
Yeah, you learn to take care of yourself during a very tough time of your life, selling your house and moving, and plus you were
Yeah,
traveling for work and
yep,
still working
yeah.
full time, all that.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was challenging, I mean, I have a little bit of family and they were there to help, but yeah, work, travel, work, selling my house, having to move, adjusting to living alone and in a new place, which I did very quickly, actually, I have to say, which I'm very happy about. But yeah, it was a lot. And there was like no excuses, right? I just was like, you know what, I'm gonna make it work. I'm gonna make it work.
And like you said, it gave you something to focus on, almost gave you comfort in a very kind of chaotic and uncertain
Does. I
situation.
like I do like routine, which I guess helps. I like routine. I like filling out the tracker. I like tracking my food. I know people were like, "Oh, she's got problems," or something. Like I do. I don't mind weighing my food, and I like it. I like the control, and it comes as second nature, and it doesn't feel like extra work. It actually just feels like, again, self-care. Like I care about myself enough and my well-being and my health, to do this for myself, and it doesn't add any extra time to anything because I have it down to a science.
You figured out a process and a
Yeah, I
system
feel
that
like
works for you, right?
yeah. And I mean, yeah, so yeah, the tracker is great. The information that you provided is great, and the
What are you
steps.
talking about when you say tracker? Because the listeners may not know what
Okay,
that
yeah.
means.
So Megan puts together a beautiful tracker, an Excel spreadsheet that has formulas in it, so you don't have to do the math yourself, which is nice. And every day just put in my calories for the day because I use the Lose It app, which is pretty darn cheap. You don't have to spend a ton of money. It's like $20 or less for the whole year, and you just kind of can put your recipes in there, your food. I track my calories for the day, and then it breaks it down into the macros so I can get my protein and my fibers, which is what we really focus on, and then my steps. And then you see your running averages, which I also learned, right? Your body takes time to adapt and change. So even if you're for like a month, like you said, like you were eating perfect in your calorie zone for a month, it doesn't really matter because for the last 10, 15 years, you've been eating at an excess, right? So it takes time. So when you track, you can really kind of see where your averages are, and then, you can see when your averages come up or down finally, and that can influence what your body's doing. So that's why, it took time, right? Because I had a lot of years of, you know, I probably didn't think I was eating as many calories as I was eating, but I'm sure I was.
That's what
You know?
everybody says. I'm not
Yeah,
eating very much. And then when we start tracking and actually getting the data
yeah.
consistently over time, people start to see.
Yeah, you start to see that yeah, you are consuming a lot, and especially because I wasn't really moving much, which
Right.
I think was the detriment there, not just kind of laying on the couch. And again, yeah, working from home, like you said, chair to chair, like getting out of bed, going into that chair, sitting in that chair all day, then laying on the couch all night. So
That
it's
chair to chair lifestyle. I think we've all been
yeah,
there at some
upgrade to the
point.
couch. But yeah, it's not good. And now I think people are getting mad at me because I don't have time to fit them in. I'm just so busy between, if I'm not working, then I'm walking or I'm at bar or I'm out with friends. Always doing something. So when people are like, "Oh, why don't you have much downtime?" I was like, "Because I just don't."
I'm busy, busy
'Cause I'm
taking care of
busy.
myself.
Yeah, I got a life. I'm doing stuff. Like I don't watch that much TV. I used to be a huge TV watcher, like TV binger, and like now, like I don't watch that much because I don't have time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
feels good.
You said something interesting also when you were talking about the tracker. You said we focused on protein and fiber. So you mean we didn't focus on cutting carbs or not eating fruit because there's too much sugar? We didn't focus on any of that nonsense?
Yeah, so that is, yes, I'll put that out there for everyone. And I sound like a broken record when I talk to all of my friends and family and anyone who will listen to me that restrictive eating doesn't work and that you should be able to eat every single food group and everything that you like. You just have to learn how to fit it in and learn how to make it work. And yeah, no, I mean, it doesn't make sense to cut out food groups and cut out carbs. Like you said, like carbohydrates are on everything, especially in fruits and vegetables and things that we're supposed to be eating. So it's when people say I can't eat carbs, I'm just like, okay, like, unless they really ask me too many questions, I won't go into it because they're just going to fight me. But I mean, I've learned so much nutritionally working with you that I just listen to people and I just go, oh, okay. Because, I could see that whatever they're saying or they're doing is not working for them, but it works for me. So when I go out to eat and I want to splurge and I just eat what I want and I never feel bad about it. I
Hmm.
don't feel bad because I know what I do on a daily basis. And I also, I still track when I go out. I mean, I do my best, right? You can't always get exact, but I track anyway and I do my best. And it's never, I mean, even if you go 1,000 calories over one day or something because it's a special occasion, I mean, it's just one day, it's one meal. It's not going to derail you again because your averages. So I just eat what I want and I do not, yeah, I eat everything. Candy. I mean, I'm not a huge like junk food eater, but I bought myself some chips the other day and someone did make fun of me that said like, "Oh, did you like measure them out?" I'm like, "Yeah, I did." Because it says like 12 chips or how many grams, right? So I'm like, well, let's see if that's even right. So I put them on my scale and it's usually pretty close. So, and I don't care.
Hmm.
And I enjoy them and it doesn't bother me to weigh it out. So,
Yeah. Because knowing and having data is your power. Most people do not have the data, like in a spreadsheet, in a document. You're just looking in your app, thinking that you're really consistent.
Yeah, and you're not. Yeah. I mean, I watch what everybody, I mean, I'm not doing it on purpose, but when I go out and I see and I watch what people are eating or people tell me what they're eating on a regular basis and they're like, "Oh, I eat really healthy." And I'm like, "Okay." And they're like, and they just tell me what they're eating. I mean, I don't say anything anymore because I'm like, "Do you really want me to dissect that meal because I can and I will, but I'm not going to." I can tell you what's right and what's wrong. But yeah, I mean, constantly tell my friends and stuff like if you are cutting out a whole food group or you think you need to cut your calories in half or more, like you're just you're not doing yourself any favors. It's not sustainable. And I feel like the way I'm living now and the way you've shown me is that it's super sustainable because I eat, like I said, I eat anything and everything I want, and I have foods that I really like. And do I eat a lot of meals on repeat? Yes, because one, it's just super easy and I don't have time and I like it. Like I have eaten the same breakfast, I think, for like a year straight. And people laugh at me, but I like it. It tastes great. It has all the protein and everything that I need in there and fiber, and I love it. And I look forward to it every morning. I'm like, yeah, breakfast. I'm not even bored of it. So, you know,
That's the tough part, I think, for most people is finding something you actually like. And then when you like that thing, it's just easy to repeat it. Nobody wants to think, what am I eating for breakfast Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday,
yeah.
Sunday, and doing something
Yeah.
different, and then doing that for every single meal. That takes so much time.
Yeah, it's very draining. And I mean, obviously I'm just cooking for myself, so it's easier. I don't have to worry about like, oh,
Right.
my kids don't like this food or my husband doesn't want to eat that or whatever. Like, too bad, make your own. If that's how I am.
Mm.
I'm like, I'm just dealing with myself. So it is easier. But yeah, it's so easy. Like I just buy the same kinds of things. Sometimes I do have specific recipes I feel like making and I do it. I meal prep like one dinner or something and it lasts me maybe like 4 nights in a row. So the last night I just have something that's frozen, like a chicken patty or something, and then just throw some veggies and something else in there. And it's like just really easy and comes together in like, 10 minutes or something. So
How do you handle like when you travel for work? Because you do travel for work every once in a while, right?
yeah, traveling in less than a month again. Well, I start with going and picking up lots of snacks, good snacks, like um, protein bars are there. Well, I use your trick now that you taught about, seeing if it's really a protein source instead of like a glorified candy bar. So I did find one that has very, low calories and very high protein and doesn't taste that awful. So I do kind of buy those and like, kind of jerky. I like the chicken sticks that I found now in Costco. So yeah, and I just kind of bring my own snacks as just in case. And I'm a picky eater anyway, kind of. So like, when I go to the restaurants or if they offer us food, like I just see what I have and I make my best. I do my best. I think it also helps when I travel. I don't feel as hungry as I usually do. So I'm kind of in travel mode, so I don't eat as much. But yeah, I definitely prepare myself. And I drink a lot of water. And I get up before our meetings or any kind of activities and I use the treadmill in the hotel because I do that every morning anyway. I walk, so I stay consistent even on my weekends when I could possibly be sleeping in, which I get up anyway early and I get my walk in because it feels good and it's important consistency. So
And
for
what's
me,
important is it works best for you, right?
yeah,
It's
it
not going to
works.
work for everybody, but it works for you. You found something that works for you.
Yeah, and I like it. Again, I'm a fan of routine.
That's
So
always the key is that you got to find something you like. And sometimes that's the hardest part of the
yeah,
journey.
yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know, it's all worked, every component of it, the food, the exercise, the mindset, it's all kind of come together full circle and it's worked. And I feel more like myself than I have in a really long time.
Aw,
I'm a joy to be around now.
that's good. What do you think, like when we started in the beginning, did we start with doing all of the things like tracking everything in the tracker and getting 10,000 steps and like doing, like, what did we do? How did we do it?
No, I mean it's like slow and steady. It's like pick one thing, right? It was just like first it's like let's start tracking, right? Just eat like the way you normally eat, just so we can see where you're at, right? Walk, do the normal things to see you've got to have a baseline. And then, you just pick something, like pick one meal or, just try to get five, you're at like 3,000 steps, so just try to get 5,000, it's just something small just small things. I always tell people too, like you can't do everything at once. It's overwhelming and you will fail.
Mhm.
Um, Especially if you haven't been in like a good mindset for a while, and you're not happy with yourself. It's an easy way to like find another excuse and say like, oh, I failed already. I failed again.
Mhm.
So you just slow and steady, and then you just start building on that. So yeah, I can't remember exactly what we first started on, but it probably was probably just tracking my food and seeing where I was at and probably getting my steps up because I was already sedentary.
Yep, we worked on steps, we worked on tracking, then we worked on protein and fiber.
Yep.
You
Yep.
already had a good meal composition, and that's something I
Yeah.
just want to mention to the listeners, because sometimes I will get some listeners who will get upset that so and so lost 30 pounds, and why haven't I lost? And I said, you don't know what that person has gone through to get there. And, I think that's something that with your journey, it took you a year to lose the 30 pounds, which is a very realistic time frame. And sometimes 30 pounds is not always 30 pounds on the scale, right? Like you said, your
Right.
body composition
Yeah.
change
Yeah.
is really the most important part. You don't look like a melted candle.
Yeah.
You
Right.
look like
No.
you
Yeah.
have a
Yeah.
good body composition, right? And that's what we're looking for. But you also had a lot of good habits. Like you had the exercise, right? You were doing the bar, plus you
Yep.
already had a lot of healthy foods in your diet. You were structured in terms of breakfast, lunch, dinner. That's stuff I don't typically see with clients. So sometimes I have to work 6, 7, 8 months with clients just to work on those kind of core habits to start before we can even get to fat loss. So now we're talking 18 months or 2 years realistically for somebody to lose weight. And I'm just pointing that out because you're a little bit different, right? We were able
Yeah.
to start kind of working on fat loss out the gates because you
Right.
had those core habits down.
Yeah. I mean, I do say that, yeah. I have well, yes, I had a healthier diet. And that already meant a lot to me. I only drink water. I don't, there were no sodas. I don't have to worry about alcohol, cutting that consumption. I don't drink. And it basically is like I don't even drink caffeinated beverages too. So I mean, yeah. Plus my diet, yeah, and my mindset was already like, even though I
Mhm.
was down on myself and unhappy and not doing everything I should have been doing sooner, I definitely I had a different starting point. Where I've talked to many people where they're just like, I don't like that and I don't want to do that and I can't, and there were a lot of no, no, no's. And I was like, well, you can't change if you're not willing to change.
Or willing to
So
try things,
like
right?
I was at a different starting point. Yeah. Well, yeah. So
Yeah, you definitely have to work on that mindset piece and also like kind of meeting yourself where you're at. Like, so some of the examples you're talking about, right? Sometimes people are thinking about doing things too rigidly or changing things too aggressively or strictly, right?
right.
And that's why they have the mindset of, I can't do this, I can't do this, I can't do that, right?
Right.
Because they're not kind of
Yeah.
working on
Thinking.
making smaller changes.
Right. And yeah, they just think of like everything at once and it's just one thing,
Yeah.
and that's all it takes is just one thing and then get it right and then move to another thing and you just layer on, and I know it's hard because life is life and it throws us all a lot of curveballs. My last year and a half or so or two, more than that, was very difficult, personally. So, uh, I could have made a ton of excuses, but it wouldn't get me to where, I wanted to be, and it's my life. I just feel so much better, like
Yeah.
in everything. I feel like I'm better to be around for work. I have, more friends. I'm more active. I feel better about myself in general. And it's not just weight too. It's just, I just feel better, with the exercise and the nutrition. It's just a whole, like a total package. I'm very happy. Thank you, Wendy.
Yeah, you're welcome. It would have been easy to slide into kind of a black hole, right? With going through a divorce and all the changes and the
Yeah,
stress you
yeah,
were dealing with. And, I think that's probably a struggle for a lot of people is kind of understanding that that's just really self-destruction. It's not actually taking care of yourself, which is what you need the most. And I know we talked about that a lot in our coaching calls, like just reinforcing like, hey, showing up is still self-care. You still have to take care of yourself during this tough time, some way, somehow.
yeah. And I mean, I think that's the ultimate self-care, right? Is feeding your body, moving your body, and doing what suits you and what's best for you, and not,
Yeah.
just don't give up because I really had given up for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And imagine if you hadn't had support like from me or your family,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Who the heck knows? I don't even want to think about it.
Yeah, I
That's why I said,
know. I
like I'm
know.
really happy that I decided like I'm giving Megan a call before, a few months before things kind of went really haywire. And I'm like, oh, thank God I did that. I just am thankful every day because I don't know where I would be right now, honestly. It's really given me like a whole new outlook on life. Um, yeah, so
I have to ask you, you said you did Weight Watchers like 100 times, and so many clients come to me and they're like, I'm doing Weight Watchers and I'm starving and I don't know what's wrong and why is nothing working. So can you give some insight into like maybe what you think wasn't working when you did that?
yeah. Well, I think, like with Weight Watchers, right? You got your points and you're so focused on the points and like the lowest point foods
Yeah.
that because you want to pack in as much food as you can through the day, that yeah, maybe like, it's not that I used to eat these, I mean, honestly, I used to eat these giant salads, like so much salad. Like I I gotta be honest, I love salad. I love that, but like I'm kind of lazy and I don't even want to make it. So I make other things. I do eat vegetables, but I don't eat salads like that. And when I go out, I like to get big salads because somebody else is doing all the chopping. So like I just ate as much volume as I could with low point foods, but then you're like cutting out like your fun foods or all these foods and you feel restricted. And then like if you go out to dinner one night and it's like the day before you're getting weighed in, or you can't, you got to say no, like, no, 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 I can't do that because you're afraid to get on the scale the next day. And again, like, you're getting weighed in every week and it doesn't, again, like you said, the scale doesn't really show everything. We weren't really, there wasn't any talk about measurements or anything like that. And also, you were just aiming at those points, right? You weren't aiming to make sure you're eating enough protein or getting enough fiber or,
Yeah.
just having a better composition on your meal plate, like you said. It's just you're just so focused on, like, can I stay within like the 21 points or something? So you might be eating like, 1,000 egg whites. Well, that's a lot of protein, but like, what about the rest of it? And then you're going to get so sick because you're going to be like, I can't see another egg white or I'm going to, throw up. So, yeah, it is kind of restrictive because you feel like the foods that you like that you normally want to fit in could like blow your whole day. And then you're kind of like, oh man, I can't eat anything else. So, yeah, it doesn't really teach you.
How to eat like a normal person?
Yeah, how do you like it? Exactly. That was the words on my mouth. Why can't I just eat like a normal person? I was like, this isn't fair. Why can't I eat like a normal person? So, I mean, yeah, it would work. And then it stopped working. I mean, obviously I was much younger when I did it. And then, when I went back a few more times, it just wasn't even doing anything for me. Even when I was, following the point system, it just stopped working. And I was like, oh, I'm broken. So, I had enough knowledge though in my head to not do any of those strange diets that people do like carnivore or 'cause I don't even eat meat anyway, but like keto and things that are like these like very crazy diets that are very restrictive or like, I worked for a company that used to promote Whole 30 every January because, we would put it on her, we would work with the Whole 30 lady, whatever her name was. And it's like I was like that, even at that point, I was like, you can't cut out all those food group. Like that's crazy town, especially women, right? We need certain things in our diet. So I always had a better mindset and understood like these diets don't work. But I didn't know what was wrong with me and I didn't know how to fix it
Now
until
you know.
around working with you. I saw exactly what was going on and I was like, oh, okay, well that makes sense. So
It's
yeah.
reassuring because you're not broken and there's nothing wrong with you.
I really thought that I'm going to be honest with everybody is that I thought like nothing's going to happen. I'm going to work hard and I'm going to put the effort in, but I'm not going to see results because like look at I mean, I sold so much stuff. I sold a lot of beautiful things that I owned because I was like, I will never get into this again. This will never ever happen. And now I'm cursing myself because I was like, man, that stuff would have fit me now. And I didn't think it would ever happen. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it can happen. It doesn't matter what size you start out, where you are in life. Like if if you commit to it and it's important to you, it'll happen. Yeah, just takes time. It's not going to be overnight, and that's okay.
Yeah. And honestly, I will say this until the day I die, like, you're not broken. there's nothing wrong with you. You're probably just missing some things you're not seeing,
Yeah, yeah.
kind of
And
like
then
you.
that's and you have blinders on yourself. And so you have someone like you that will ask the questions and see what's going on. And because you've been doing this for 11, 12 years, like you just know what's going on and you can make those tweaks and it's and then you're like, wow, that I didn't even realize that or and it's just a tiny shift in what was on my plate and how I was eating was enough to I mean more than a tiny shift but a shift anyway was enough to really like
And
change
how
my
much
life.
you were moving too. Yeah.
Well, yeah, the moving thing, I know, and you're still yelling at me to slow down. I'm trying.
Like
I
back
have
off just a little bit.
I know. I understand why I need to. So it's just hard because I'm so used to moving. So sometimes I'm like, you must sit on the couch for the next 2 hours. Like tell myself, sit down, stay seated. It's hard. But yeah, I do that now. So, it feels good.
I'm so happy for you. You've
Thank
come,
you.
I mean, you've come a long way, huge transformation. And I guess the last question I'll ask you is, there's a lot of people listening to this who are probably just like you in the throes of menopause, feeling broken, feeling like nothing works for them. I guess what would your advice be to them?
Don't give up on yourself because that's how I felt before I, made that last call to you. I thought I was broken and that nothing was going to happen. And I was stuck, I was stuck, to be in a body and in a mindset and feel not good about myself. Because that's just, how this is how it is. This is what it's going to be. So, I would say not to give up on yourself. Give Megan a call, give her a chance. Because, through this all that time, like I was listening to your podcast and I was listening to other people doing this interview where I was like, man, I want that to be me, but I don't, and I would say it out loud, like, I want that to be me. Like, this person is in the same age range as me. They sound like they had the same difficulties as me, and same challenges. Like, could that ever be me? I don't know, but I would just say like, yeah, I mean, put yourself first, you know because you can't love other people and do things for other people if you can't do for yourself. And, I finally
Yeah.
said self-care. I'm doing this for me. And it made a huge difference. So don't give up.
Don't give up.
Don't give up.
The solution is there.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you just have to be willing to ask for help. And I find sometimes people, are really scared. They don't believe in themselves, just like you mentioned.
Yeah, yeah, you're scared because again, like you say all the time, it's like you're afraid to fail again. Because how many failed attempts have we all had?
Yeah.
Like a lot, a lot. And that's what kept me away for too long, is that I was like, I really don't feel like spending the money and failing. It's always like money and failure. And then I was like, yeah, but you never, you don't know if you don't try. And I was like, this is different. It's different this time, because I think I was in the right mindset and I said, it's time. It's time to no more excuses. Yeah.
And I truly think it was like the right time for you too, in terms of like what was happening in your personal life. Like I really do think the universe kind of leads us to where we need to be at the right time,
Yeah,
in
definitely.
weird ways. And so I think it was a really good time for you to do this and just learn to support yourself through a difficult time. And that builds your confidence, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it really built my confidence and made me feel like myself again. And people really noticed, like I said, when I moved and everything, people were like, wow, you adjusted so quickly. Like, and I'm so happy. Like, I'm like, oh, I have my own space. This is wonderful. And I think that was all part of like moving more and feeling better about myself and eating better. And it's all like all together. It just gave me a whole newfound confidence. And I go out and I have a great time and I don't worry about how to get dressed and what to wear because it all fits and I don't worry about what I'm going to eat where I go because I track my food and I don't have like the food noise anymore. I'm not worried about it. Like if I want to eat it, I eat it. If I don't, I don't. No pressure. I'm not going to be pressured in. So, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm just so happy for you, Wendy, and I'm glad that you took that chance to make that phone call.
Thank you. I'm glad you helped me. I'm so
Yeah,
glad.
I'm
Oh,
so
yeah.
happy for you. Such a great transformation. And thanks for sharing your story today on the podcast. I'm sure it's going to help other women, just like you used to listen to all of
I
these other
know. And those
clients.
other women kind of pushed me to do it. So I'm hoping that, even if it's just one person, I hope that, it helps somebody because, yeah, I didn't think there was going to be any change. I was like, ah,
Ah, what a
ah.
terrible mindset.
But now I'm just like, do it.
You're
Yeah.
missing something, just like you were saying, you were missing some things you just didn't realize.
Yeah, I was missing some guidance and some understanding and just, help, mental, like just kind of mindset help. So it all came together and I'm very appreciative.
You're so welcome. You're so welcome. Well, I appreciate you being here today. You have a good rest of your day, and I'll talk to you
Yeah.
soon.
All right, take care.
Hey, if you enjoyed this podcast, you have to come check out my free weight loss class. It's the 5 steps to lasting weight loss, how hormones impact weight loss, and the truth about lasting weight loss without relying on willpower, workouts, or deprivation. Click the link in the show notes to watch that free class today. And if you are a woman over 35 with 20 to 50 or more pounds to lose, schedule a free weight loss breakthrough session with me after you watch that class. And let's talk about your 20 to 50 or more pound weight loss plan.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
Ready or not, summer is coming, and Wayfair's Memorial Day clearance is on now. Right now through May 25th, get up to 70% off everything home at Wayfair. Plus, score amazing doorbuster deals all sale long and surprise flash deals on Memorial Day. We're talking thousands of products at every style and budget. Now is the time to save big on must-haves for your patio, backyard, and beyond. These savings won't last, so don't wait. Shop Wayfair's Memorial Day clearance now through May 25th.
Wayfair, every style, every home.